So yeah, things are going to be changing a little bit. So, doing this a little bit sooner than I had expected to, since the last time I did it. But yeah, a little bit of a state of the channel and sort of a shifting of how things are going to start to be a little bit different. I'm not drastically overhauling the channel. I am not stopping doing this. If those are the things you're worried about, don't. None of that's going to happen. Sort of the staple stuff that I do isn't going anywhere and isn't changing. But some of the more ancillary stuff on the channel is going to either change or kind of go away a little bit. And I'll explain. Before I do, allow me to be a little bit of a completely shameless shill for myself and mention, hey, it's March. You know what happens in March? My birthday. So if anyone's feeling particularly generous and you feel like sending me stuff, P.O. Box address is in the description. Just saying. Okay, that's enough of that. So, I want to start with kind of why I'm looking to shift the way I do things. I'm not burned out. I'm not burned out, exhausted, like, oh, I can't do it anymore. Not even with the daily schedule. I actually could keep it going, but I am going to back off and videos are not going to be every single day anymore. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Largely, the primary reason, honestly, it has to do with the growth of the channel. Which is to say that actually, pretty much since we've gotten into the new year, it hasn't grown much. It's actually stagnated. In the month of February, especially, quite a bit. And I feel like I've gotten a handle on what it is that's going on. Because I had some days where I had little panic moments. I had a day where I lost 20 subscribers. Like net. That was my net for that day, was a 20 subscriber loss. And that's the kind of thing that can send, a creator into a bit of a panic. But when I looked into it a little bit more detailed, it gave me a clearer picture, which is that I'm not actually losing more subscribers than I do normally. I mean, subscriber turnover is a typical thing. And actually, these first 2 months of this year, I'm averaging lower numbers in terms of subscriber loss than I did, on an average month last year. The difference is I no longer am getting the new subscribers in to counteract the standard turnover. And that's where things are off right now. New people aren't finding me. And I don't know how much of that is YouTube and their algorithm just messing with me or what. But what I can tell you is that part of the reason that I kept the motivation going to do the daily videos for as long as I did was that it did appear to actually be helping me in terms of visibility of the channel and growth for it. And before I continue, I don't want to sound like I'm overly click obsessed, but the thing is, right now the channel is at a really frustrating point where with a bit more of a push, it's not out of the realm of possibility that I could get it to where this would be what I do for a living. But I'm not there yet. And it's difficult to put in the time and the effort to get there while still maintaining a full-time day job. So, I'm at a point where I think I know there are other channels my size or even slightly smaller that have made the leap to doing this full-time, but generally from people who have less expenses than I do. I got a house. I got a kid. Yeah, I think I have a few more life expenses, to cover. I have in terms of what I need to make to actually pay all my bills. But I don't want it to seem like I'm just like, I'm re-hauling for the clicks. Like, well, no, but if what I'm doing is sort of has hit a ceiling, that means if I ever want to get to the point that I'd like to be at, which is just doing this as my job, then I can't keep doing what I'm doing because it's not growing anymore. So here's what does not change. Doctor Who videos 2 times a week does not change. You will still get a Sunday video rotating topic, and that's where classic episode reviews and Big Finish reviews and lists and editorial ramblings. All that will still happen on Sundays. Overdue Doctor Who review, that's not going anywhere. That remains on Wednesdays. Those stay the same. The LGBTQ plus topics once a month, those stay where they are, and the approach will stay the same. What you will see less of is you will see less sort of hot takes. I am going to become more selective about which breaking news items or new trailers I actually devote full videos to. Because that's one of the ways I would kind of fill out the schedule is to take something and go, can I get 10 minutes out of that? I think so. Let's try it. Like, the sort of how I'm sort of prioritizing this, I wouldn't now, do a video on, hey, Marvel's going to make a Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu movie. I probably wouldn't devote a video to that now with sort of the way I'm reprioritizing it. Doesn't mean I won't talk about smaller stuff like that, but that sort of conversation is going to get moved over to the weekly live stream, which happens on Tuesdays, alternating 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern time. The next one, I don't know which it's going to be, but the Tuesdays every week. I've actually been able to maintain that schedule, and if I ever need to take a week off, I'll give folks a heads up. But that's where I'm going to move a lot of the sort of hot take stuff that I feel like I don't feel the motivation to devote a full video to this. I'll probably still do full videos for like first trailers for something. But when it's like second or third trailer, unless it's really sparked something in my head, probably won't be devoting videos to that anymore. Other stuff, the stuff that has been sporadic will remain sporadic. Things like Good Movie, Bad Ending, the Animation Junkie reviews. I'll probably do some more 90s comics retrial, nitpick rants. All the things like that. I do want to get Liz back and do some more of the sorting of various fictional universe characters into Hogwarts houses. So, that stuff will still happen, but none of that was ever on a fixed schedule. The only stuff that was on a regular schedule was the LGBTQ stuff and the Doctor Who stuff. And all that's staying, and the other stuff will get slotted in as I can, along with, of course, Patreon-sponsored reviews as they come up. So, what does that mean in terms of what I do with what I put out? Because otherwise I'm just like doing less content. Well, I want to take the extra time that I'm going to end up with as a result of not doing daily videos, and I want to try and produce stuff that's a little bit more work intensive. I'm actually going to take a crack at basically the video essay format. Now, I don't plan to drastically shake up the format of the stuff that I'm already doing, or doing regularly. Again, the LGBTQ stuff and the Doctor Who stuff. That I don't think is going to change really at all. But for maybe one of the Patreon sponsored reviews, I might roll the dice and try and integrate more editing stuff. Actually, maybe try video clips, which is something I've avoided in the past because dealing with the copyright claims is a big headache. But the thing is, and I've realized this more firmly as sort of views have eased off for me, I can't really count on the YouTube revenue if this is ever going to be my living. I need to be making most, if not all, of my living expenses strictly off the Patreon. Because, while support on the Patreon can go up, it can go down, it will, it gives me a base level, and I can monitor that a heck of a lot better and understand what's going on with it better than YouTube, because, whether or not a video spreads or doesn't is really hard for me to be able to judge. Stuff that used to get higher views maybe isn't. Stuff that I don't expect to get views might get a heck of a lot more than I expect, and I don't like trying to plan paying bills around that. So, I don't know what to do as far as trying to bolster the Patreon more. The last time I kind of did a bit of a call to action on it, there was an amazing swell of support, and it has continued to grow since then. But I also don't want to come across like I'm begging or like I'm holding the channel to ransom. I don't like that feeling. I don't like that idea. But at the same time, that, subscriber growth is great. More views is wonderful. I do want that. And if I could get a higher sort of minimum sustained level of income from YouTube, that would certainly help. But if this is ever going to be my living, I need it to come through the Patreon. I need it to come through a source that I can just rely on a little bit more than YouTube, and to not yo-yo month to month. But at the same time, I don't really want to push it any harder than I already have been. Oh, one other thing. I suppose I'll mention this. I actually will have a sponsor for some episodes. This will be a first for me. I've had potential sponsors reach out to me before, but for one reason or another, I haven't bitten at any of those. This one is a guy that I know and is really cool stuff, and I mean, you'll know when it happens. So I suppose that's worth pointing out. I'm certainly open to sponsorships. I am going to be nitpicky and vet them. Like I said, I've been approached before, and I've turned that stuff down. But I'm just trying to find the ways to shore this up. But yes, so ideally, with fewer videos happening per week, with some of them, I do want to start devoting more time into them to try and produce a slightly more polished, finished product. You will still get me rambling, without a script for stuff. For reviews primarily. I mean, if I'm going to review something where I'm not, trying to make a grander point, I'll probably still just ramble at a camera. So if that's what you like, it's not going away. But I want to try and grow, and I want to try to expand, because if I just keep doing what I've already been doing, then the channel's not going to get any bigger. And while that hasn't caused me to lose motivation yet, I do worry that growth flatlining will cause me to burn out, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to wrap it up there. So, some changes coming, hopefully for the better. Hopefully you'll stick with me. Hopefully the council gets bigger and more expansive and more vibrant, and maybe I get a little better at what I do. Who knows? We'll see. Thanks for your support. If you haven't supported me out the Patreon, I'd encourage you to do that. There are rewards even at the lowest offering. But even if you don't, if all you're doing is watching, that's support, and I appreciate that too. So, changes. Yeah, they're happening. Also my birthday, because I'm getting older. Remind you of that. P.O. Box is down there. So is the Patreon link. So is also the comments that you can leave. So whatever your thoughts are, drop something down there and let's talk about it. A whole bunch of stuff to do. It's all down in the description. But even if you don't click on any of it, that's okay too. Because at the end of the day, you are the council and I am just running these dang meetings. Until next time, this council is adjourned.